There's no other way. I can only go all out. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with madness. Babata, take out the automaton ship. Understood. Babata didn't dare hesitate. Rumble. A 200m tall silver-white pyramid appeared before him. At the most dangerous moment, this majestic automaton ship blocked the ice cave in front of Luo Feng. Ha! Patua laughed maniacally and pressed the button. A dazzling beam of light shot out from the muzzle of the E9 grade laser gun. The beam of light was dazzling to the extreme, and just the temperature it contained was more terrifying than the highest temperature of a star. If an ordinary person were to look at it, their eyes would be directly scorched. Chi. The thick crimson vines blocking the way were like fragile tofu, directly turning into ashes, easily pierced through. It didn't have any effect at all. Rumble. The super laser shot into the automaton ship's body. This ship was completely made of a silver-white peculiar alloy. When that terrifying beam that was enough to pierce through a planet hit the ship, immediately, a dent appeared on the surface of the ship, almost as though the silver-white metal had melted. Simultaneously, the entire surface of the pyramid shone with light. The energy within the beam was being absorbed by the automaton ship. This automaton ship was an automaton undying ship. The material of the ship itself was an E-grade pinnacle. It was much more perfect than the alloys the humans of the universe built, and it even had an automatic recovery effect. The ship's surface could absorb energy from attacks. It could be said, as an E-grade pinnacle ship, with its energy absorption and automatic recovery abilities. Unless one was an undying, it was practically impossible to threaten this automaton ship. Of course, as Luo Feng suddenly summoned it, he didn't have time to activate the energy barrier. If he could activate it, he would be even safer. Even though it couldn't pierce through the automaton ship, however, not piercing through was even more terrifying than piercing through, because light was made up of light particles. The mass of light particles wasn't zero. Accurately speaking, light was also a form of matter. Because normal light and some of the weaker laser beams didn't gather enough light. Hence the mass wasn't large enough. However, this was a terrifying beam that could pierce through a planet. This was a light beam that could kill Sector Lord Level 9 experts. The light particles within the light beam were simply too massive. Hence, each particle was extremely light. 1 trillion light particles were still lighter than a feather. However, when it was gathered to the point where it could pierce through a planet and kill a Sector Lord Peak Level 9, the weight of this light beam was already incomparably terrifying. Boom. This extremely hot beam of light that had also reached an extremely high quality also struck the mechanical race's spaceship. However, it did not pierce through. Therefore, the terrifying kinetic energy contained in this light beam, the entire automaton spaceship was instantly blasted away. Some of the lasers created on Earth in the past mainly relied on high temperature to kill monsters. As for the laser guns in the universe, as their power increased, it increased by 10,000 times, 100 million times, 1 trillion times. It continued to increase. Not only did the laser beam possess extremely high temperature, but it also possessed extremely high kinetic energy. Normally, when someone was shot by a laser, there would be a hole in the body. However, because the machinery race's spaceship had forcefully blocked it, it had completely withstood the terrifying kinetic energy. The automaton spaceship was bombarded and flew away in the direction of the laser beam at an astonishing speed. Just like on a billiard table, after the cue hit the ball would shoot out. The automaton spaceship was shot out by this beam of light. As the laser gun was originally locked on Luo Feng, the ship was shot out precisely like a billiard cue, crashing into Luo Feng. Mosha clansman. Change? Luo Feng tried his best to get closer to the walls of the ice tunnel. Simultaneously, the Mosha clansman tried his best to get bigger, almost like a huge rubber ball. The center of the rubber ball was empty, his earth body was within this huge rubber ball. This huge rubber ball stuck closely to the wall behind. The automaton spaceship that was bombarded by the beam of light immediately crashed into the huge rubber ball. That incredibly terrifying kinetic energy acted on the huge rubber ball. Immediately, the Mosha clansman tried his best to transform into an incredibly flexible huge rubber ball. Due to the intense impact, the entire structure began to crumble and crumble. Rumble, a portion of the impact followed the rubber ball and was transmitted to the wall. The entire wall began to tremble violently. The ice layer continued to explode, extending in all directions. Countless shards of ice fell from the wall. That incredibly sturdy black rock started to crack from the shockwave. Some of the shards rolled down and the entire tunnel shook. And the intense beam of light and the automaton ship's surface emitted an unbelievable high temperature. That was much hotter than the sun. The surrounding ice layer began to madly melt and mist rose. Ignoring everything else, Luo Feng's Mosha clansman became a huge rubber ball. It immediately crumbled, and within the huge rubber ball hole, the crumbling and vibrating rubber ball caused the space to distort. The terrifying impact directly impacted on his earth body. The earth deity was wearing a silver armor that was made of F-grade metal. Even if it was hit by the beam of light, it wouldn't pierce through. The earth body felt the terrifying impact. His body trembled violently. The cloud contact vine armor on his skin immediately broke apart. Following which, Luo Feng's skin too broke apart. Fresh blood flowed out and his bones broke. His eyes, ears and nose too oozed fresh blood. His entire body's bones and tendons were instantly shattered. Silence. Damn. Luo Feng howled within. This was an agitated howl. The reason why he didn't let his Earth body return to the internal world at the critical moment was because he had the cloud contact vine on his body. He was wearing an F-grade metal armor. These were all layers of defense. That terrifying energy passed through the Mosha clansmen. About 30% of it was wasted on the automaton ship, 30% on the walls and 30% on the huge rubber ball. Probably only 1% or even 1/1000 of it was used on the Earth body. Through the armor's weakening. Through the Domain Lord level 9, powerful life force and extremely flexible cloud contact vines weakening. The remaining impact only completely shattered the tendons and bones of the Earthling's original body, as well as his internal organs. However, at the very least, his physical structure did not collapse like the Mosha race's clone. If it wasn't for the armor and the cloud contact vines weakening, the Earth body's weak body would probably have been destroyed by the impact. Right now the situation was still alright. Because the Mosha clansman's life crystal and Luo Feng's true core were both within the Earth body. The life crystal was extremely tough. And the core was even tougher than the Earth body. The final impact didn't even break the Earth body, the core was naturally fine. Earth body returned to the internal world. Mosha clansman condense. In an instant, the completely crippled Earth body along with the heavily injured cloud contact vine vanished. The life crystal once again released a strong black energy and swiftly condensed into Luo Feng's body. Mosha Luo Feng. So, Mosha Luo Feng's silhouette flashed and he rushed towards the Domain Lord level 9 enemy Pa Tuo. He's dead. Pa Tuo wielded the E9 grade laser gun, detecting the huge automaton ship being blasted away and smashing into the human silhouette. Even though it was like a huge rubber ball, Pa Tuo was certain the enemy was dead. This was an E9 grade laser gun. Such an ultimate weapon, how could it not kill a universe level 9 punk? Luo Feng appeared before Pa Tuo. You. Pa Tuo's expression changed greatly. Chi. The blade flashed, infused with space laws, it was so fast that Pa Tuo couldn't even react, immediately slicing him in two. The blade also landed on the life core, shattering it. Pa Tuo was dead. Pa. The E9 grade laser gun in Pa Tuo's hand also fell to the ground, smashing into the water that had melted due to the high temperature. Who? Luo Feng stood where he was, looking at the body that was sliced in two, looking at the melted water and large amounts of mist, he couldn't help but feel fear. It's simply too terrifying. If the automaton ship's defense wasn't strong enough, it would have pierced right through and continued to shoot me. Without the automaton ship as a buffer, if the laser hit me directly, even though my silver armor is made of F-grade metal, it wouldn't be able to break through. However, the energy within it would still be enough to shatter me into pieces. Luo Feng was very clear, the armor's defense wasn't very useful. This was also why the universe strength armor was more expensive, while these armors were cheaper. It was like a person wearing extremely hard armor walking on the highway, only to be hit and sent flying by a speeding truck. Maybe the armor would be undamaged, but the person would definitely die from the impact. If the person was in the elevator would suddenly fall and smash into the ground. The elevator wouldn't be damaged, but the person would probably die. It was the same logic. The sturdy armor could withstand some special dangers, but against such a terrifying impact, it was much less useful. Luckily I succeeded in the end. Luo Feng sat on the ground, the rocks on the ground were boiling, the surrounding temperature was at least a few hundred degrees. And this was because Demon Note Mountain was filled with countless layers of ice, hence the temperature wasn't that terrifying. The mist revolved. Luo Feng's gaze landed on the silver-white, simple-looking E9 grade laser gun. E9 grade laser gun? Luo Feng held his breath. This was a true killing weapon. Especially with the 0.1 second charging time, it made this E9 grade laser gun have an incomparably terrifying power. Update complete. My monthly votes have been overtaken. Looking carefully, it's actually a double monthly vote event. Luo Feng's body flashed and he squatted beside the E9 grade laser gun, extending his hand and picking up this seemingly simple automaton masterpiece. He extended his hand and caressed the gun's peculiar material. This material was very similar to Luo Feng's silver pyramid ship. However, he could feel that this laser gun's material was much better. Even though it was a gun in truth, it was even more shocking than Earth's cannons. The laser gun's muzzle was 1 m. In the vast universe, some universe ships and battleships' main cannons had muzzles that were hundreds or even thousands of meters. This kind of 1-meter caliber firearm in the universe was indeed only in the category of gun. Luo Feng, this is an E9 grade laser gun that only the automaton race can create, the XT 122 series. It's small in size and has a short charging time. Babata communicated mentally, you should know that technological weapons, even though our universe humans are considered experts, the highest we can create can only kill Sector Lord level 9 weapons. As for creating weapons that can kill Undyings, we humans can't do it. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, from Sector Lord to Undying, there was a huge leap in quality. The universe humans, the alloys they created were at most E-grade pinnacle. And the F-grade ones were definitely metals that were born in the universe. Creating technological weapons was the same. After reaching the E-grade pinnacle, there was no way to break through and create stronger weapons. And the automaton race was different. The automaton race, the origin of the universe's technology, all of them were living AIs. They could create weapons that could kill Undyings. They could create alloys that were comparable to F-grade or even higher. And these alloys had much better properties than pure metals. Just like back then when Luo Feng was on the Unimo planet ship, the automaton Undying's body was actually an alloy body. That alloy was comparable to F-grade metals. For an alloy body to reach such a level of flexibility, toughness, etc., it was indeed an unbelievable thing. This was unique to the automaton race. Other races couldn't do it. Technological weapons that can kill Undyings, only the automaton race can do it. Babata continued, of course the price of those weapons is extremely high. Among the automaton Undyings, only very few have such terrifying weapons. His mechanical race spaceship was only equipped with E3 grade laser cannons and the main planetary obliteration cannon. Although the planetary obliteration cannon was extremely powerful, the charging time was too long, and it was not suitable for close combat. Moreover, the size of the Star Destroyer cannon was not suitable for a single person to use. For the same power, the smaller it is, the more expensive it is. The shorter the storage time, the more expensive it is. This E9 grade laser gun, it's so small, and its charging time is so short, it can be said to be the bane of sector masters. Babata said, even in the automaton race it's rarely seen. Even your teacher didn't manage to get his hands on this thing back then. How expensive? LuoFeng asked. The price is about 5,000 mixed elements. Babata said, to an Undying it's not too expensive, the troublesome part is that it's a restricted item. Even if you have the money it's hard to buy it unless you're willing to pay several times the price. So expensive? LuoFeng stared. 5,000 mixed elements was even more expensive than a mechanical race spaceship. Right, this laser gun can be treated as a family treasure. Babata said, for example, if you keep this laser gun in your family, if a sector lord enemy flies into your planet's territory, the moment the planet's security system detects the enemy sector lord, it only needs 0.1 seconds to charge up. As long as the enemy dares to get close, you'll kill it in one shot, the sector lord won't even have time to react. Right. The Star Destroyer cannon was powerful, it could charge up to 60 seconds. With a sector lord pinnacle speed, it could fly tens of thousands of km in a second, directly killing its way into a planet's territory. Hence, the Star Destroyer cannon could only be considered a killing weapon during attacks. And the E9 grade laser gun, whether it was used closely or as a family treasure or a country treasure, was extremely powerful. From today onwards. Luo Feng caressed the laser gun in his hands, feeling the cold temperature from the gun. I've got another powerful trump card. The Mosha clansman's instantaneous burst of speed was shocking, with a Mosha clansman wielding the E9 grade laser gun, relying on its shocking speed to last 0.1 seconds was simply too easy. 0.1 seconds had passed. One shot was enough to kill the enemy. Luo Feng kept the laser gun in his space ring, after which he inspected the already frozen body. Even though the surrounding ice had melted due to the high temperature earlier, causing the water to boil, this was after all Demon Mountain. Very quickly, the cold energy from other places permeated the area. Within 10 seconds, the boiling water once again froze, becoming a layer of ice. The water vapor also froze into a layer of ice. Pa. He stepped on the ice and took the space belt from Pa Tuo's corpse. I wonder what's inside. Luo Feng's spirit energy permeated and swept through. With Luo Feng's experience, normal treasures were nothing to him. This Pa Tuo's entire fortune added up was far from even one mixed element. There are over 3,000 black tags here. Luo Feng was overjoyed as he took out the large amount of black tags. They floated in mid-air before him. A huge black patch. Every black tag represented the lowest universe-level human life. Over 3,000 lives. Demon Mountain, it's indeed a narrow escape. Luo Feng shook his head. Let's hope my tag doesn't become someone else's spoils of war. With a wave of his hand he kept all the black tags. Along with the unexpected gains from this trip. Luo Feng's total number of black tags reached 4,320. So, Luo Feng swiftly flew to the distant automaton ship, carefully inspecting it. The crater from the intense laser beam had already disappeared without a trace. Looks like after a while it'll be completely fine. This alloy has a memory recovery ability, not bad. Luo Feng complimented within, Babata, keep it in your storage space. Understood. The automaton ship that had fallen beside the wall with a layer of ice covering it immediately vanished. In the rock and ice cave, Luo Feng, who was as small as an ant compared to the cave, was swiftly advancing with his blade on his back. Even a lion has to go all out against a rabbit. If I meet a troublesome opponent, I'll immediately switch to the Mosha clansman and deal with him. Luo Feng walked, reflecting on the battle from before. The reason why he was in such a dangerous situation was because he didn't care about the Domain Lord level 9 opponent at the start, resulting in such an outcome. As he walked, Luo Feng frowned. Babata. Luo Feng shouted within, that warrior that wanted to kill me, he shouted, it's you, and he even took out an E9 grade laser gun that even Undyings rarely have. Firstly, that warrior was only a 9-star ocean aborigine. According to logic, he definitely wouldn't be able to get an E9 grade laser gun. Babata's voice resounded, to be able to get an E9 grade laser gun, he's probably an Undying. And he has a very strong background. Combined with the fact that he said, it's really you, when he saw the cloud contact vine, and the realm lord who chased after you. Everything can be deduced, some powerful person with a strong background wants to kill you. This person gave the laser gun to the Domain Lord level 9 warrior, and told him about your unique characteristics. You have a Domain Lord level 9 cloud contact vine. And the sector lord who chased you before, guarding the cave with all his might, he probably did the same. From this we can deduce. This person wants to kill you and he's arranged for more than one person. There are sector lords and also domain lords with laser guns. Babata explained. Luo Feng squinted. Who wanted to kill him? He didn't seem to have offended anyone. For a person to want to kill you, it probably involves some upper echelon grudges. Babata continued, I guess there are 3 possibilities. 1 is a faction fight, 2 is personal grudges, 3 is a race war. Because every knight of the virtual universe company leads a faction, you will belong to the 9 Blade Knights faction. If the faction fights are intense and someone foresees you as a threat, they will want to take the chance to eliminate you. However, to assassinate a genius like this, it's a very despicable method. If they dare to do so, it must be the type with a huge grudge. 2 personal grudges. You are True Yen Emperor's disciple. Then the grudge between others and True Yen may very well involve you. However, similarly to dare to do so, they probably have a huge grudge, otherwise they wouldn't take such a risk. 3 race war. The universe humans and other races fight intensely, some strong warriors infiltrate other races and assassinate their geniuses. This isn't a rare thing. All 3 possibilities were possible. Luo Feng, as your strength gets stronger, your position gets higher, then unknowingly the number of people you offend, or those you haven't offended but still want to kill you, will increase. Babata said, hence you have to be careful. Luo Feng nodded. He couldn't die. The moment he died, the weak foundations of the Earth humans, their fates would immediately change. And with the shocking wealth of the Pinghai group, they would quickly attract the attention of others. The outcome would be unpredictable. After all, even the virtual universe company was simply too huge, there were crooks mixed in, there were many interest groups. This was a power even larger than a universe country. Luo Feng was even more cautious, advancing along the way. Whenever he met a domain lord level 7 or above, he would rely on the Mosha clansmen to swiftly deal with them, and those below would be swiftly dealt with by his earth body. Even though he was careful, killing was inevitable. Just like that, the number of black tokens quickly accumulated to 4,831. Arriving at Demon Mountain on the 75th day. Luo Feng carried the blood shadow blade on his back, walking in the cold ancient cave. Suddenly he squinted and looked into the distance. About 90 kilometers away, there were 2 universe-level youths carrying a beautiful carved bench. On it was a skinny old man with a goatee, occasionally humming. Beside him were 5 other youths. It's him? Luo Feng squinted. That old man? The skinny goatee old man squinted his eyes as he laid on the bench, occasionally snorting. Ever since Kamlu's death, the days have gotten better. The 2 universe-level youths carrying the bench, the one in front looked resolute, his eyelids drooped as he muttered within, I've long heard of this old Ancestor Jinyang's evil name. I didn't expect to actually land in his hands in this forbidden area. Bear with it for a while and it'll be fine. This old ancestor seems to be quite sad over Kamlu's death. I hope he can endure until he gets out. Old Ancestor Jinyang. A sector lord warrior with a bit of fame in 9-Star Ocean. His fame was mainly due to his love for men. His disciples were all his concubines. And Kamlu was his first disciple, and also his most pampered disciple. Back when he sent Kamru to kill Luo Feng, he was killed by Luo Feng instead. This made Ancestor Golden Sun very sad. Kamlu, my Kamlu. Old Ancestor Jinyang sighed within. Teacher. Teacher, there's someone ahead. A shout resounded from the side. Old Ancestor Jinyang fiercely opened his eyes and looked into the distance. Very quickly he could clearly see the silhouette over 90 kilometers away. That person had a black horn, short black hair, dressed in silver armor. It's him. Old Ancestor Jinyang's eyes gleamed. His mind swiftly recalled the scene from back then. Back then he casually sent his first disciple Kamlu to capture Luo Feng. However, who would have thought that his beloved disciple would disappear just like that? Hatred and rage filled his chest. Old Ancestor Jinyang's expression immediately contorted. Little thief. Old Ancestor Jinyang fiercely roared, return my disciple's life. Rumble. That intricately carved bench immediately exploded, causing the 2 universe-level youths carrying it to dodge in shock. Old Ancestor Jinyang immediately became a golden meteor and with a flash, he flew into the distance and chased after the little thief Luo Feng. I actually met this old bastard here. Luo Feng looked at the distant silhouette. Without hesitation, he immediately swapped to the Mosha clansman. When Ancestor Jinyang roared and flew over, Luo Feng also turned and fled. However, he purposely ran at a slower speed than Ancestor Jinyang. Thief. Elder Jinyang gritted his teeth and his voice resounded within Luo Feng's ears. The surging world energy pressured and restricted Luo Feng. You actually let me discover you here, ha? Prepare to die, go and accompany my dead disciple Kamlu. Roaring, Elder Jinyang swiftly closed the distance between him and Luo Feng. Luo Feng, who was escaping, looked like he was fighting for his life. His eyes seemed to be filled with fear. However, his heart remained calm. Luo Feng, that sector lord level 7 is still 18.2 kilometers away from you. Babata's voice resounded. The distance between us is about right. Luo Feng calculated. Whoosh. A silver-white precision gun immediately appeared in his hand. The body of the gun was about 3 m long. Luo Feng immediately raised this E9 grade laser gun and pressed the button. Immediately the warning light beside the energy groove of the gun immediately lit up with a red light. That's. Patriarch Golden Sun's world power spread out and instantly discovered the intricate gun in the fleeing thief's hands. Ancestor Golden Sun was a realm lord after all. The upper echelons of Nine-Star Ocean usually had universe ships, with some quantum computers etc. to connect to the virtual universe network. Through the virtual universe network, Ancestor Golden Sun naturally knew of the laser gun, this sort of intricate and expensive technological weapon. However, he had no way of determining what level it was. This thief clearly has a universe level 9 energy, however his fleeing speed is comparable to a domain lord level 9, and he even killed my domain lord disciple Kamlu before. And now he's taking out this seemingly high-level laser gun. He's definitely not from Nine-Star Ocean. Ancestor Golden Sun swiftly deduced, and the virtual universe company frequently sends extremely high-ranked beings to enter the forbidden grounds, and these beings are all universe level 9s. This youth before me could very well be from the virtual universe company. Ancestor Golden Sun's heart trembled. Facing a sector lord and still daring to take out a laser gun, he definitely thinks this laser gun can kill me, or at least threaten me. Ancestor Golden Sun's heart tightened. A sector lord level 7, his thinking speed was extremely fast. Many thoughts flashed past in an instant. Flee. Ancestor Golden Sun didn't dare gamble, he turned and became a golden rainbow, swiftly fleeing. Trying to flee? Mosha Luo Feng chased at this time. So, within the endless twisting and turning caves, LuoFeng's instantaneous speed had obviously risen by 10 times, from the domain lord level 9 standard to a speed that exceeded most sector lords' instantaneous speed. Maybe after many sector lords accelerated to their limits, they would be even faster than Mosha Luo Feng. However, his instantaneous speed was obviously much weaker. How did he become so fast in an instant? Ancestor Golden Sun's world energy detected Luo Feng swiftly catching up, his expression changed. Before he was purposely acting. Thinking about this, Ancestor Golden Sun understood that he had fallen into a trap. The opponent could obviously use that ghostly movement to swiftly flee, but purposely acted slow to slow him down. Without a doubt, that was obviously a trap. I can't escape, what do I do? Ancestor Golden Sun was anxious. He immediately used his world energy to press the button on LuoFeng's E9 grade laser gun, however he couldn't press it at all. Idiot, how can the automaton's technological weapons have such an obvious loophole? How can it allow the enemy to control the weapon with just the world energy? Luo Feng laughed coldly to himself as he held the E9 grade laser gun in one hand. Any high-tech item would usually have some sort of AI. Even the normal ships of the humans in the universe had AI, much less this E9 grade laser gun. After receiving the laser gun, he first had to set the usage rights. After confirming the rights, he could use it. After Luo Feng had killed the domain lord Pa Tuo, he kept the laser gun and specially let Babata study it. Babata even hacked into the AI and changed the rights. Lord. You are a big person from the virtual universe company, spare me, I was the one who offended you. A sharp voice resounded in Luo Feng's ears. The E9 grade laser gun in Luo Feng's hands lit up with a green light, it had finished charging. Old punk, you can go and die. Luo Feng's silhouette was like a ghost, flashing twice. The distance between the two was only about 800 m. Luo Feng gently pressed the button. The laser gun automatically locked onto its target. A glaring white light shot out from the barrel of the laser gun. At the same time it shot out, it had already hit the sector lord level 7 Elder Jinyang. No. Elder Jinyang stared wide-eyed, the corners of his eyes were about to crack. His eyes filled with fear, unwillingness and madness. He tried his best to dodge, channeling his world energy into the genetic energy armor to protect himself, even forming a world projection around him. Under that glaring white light, the genetic energy armor dispersed the force of the attack to his entire body, causing his entire body to immediately crumble. At the same time, the armor too burned and pierced through from his neck to his thighs. The entire middle of his body was reduced to nothing, and his head and legs that were destroyed from the force of the attack. Due to the high temperature of the white light, nothing was left. The white light continued to shoot into the distant walls. Immediately the walls shook, countless layers of ice melted and boiled, becoming a white mist. Voila! Immediately the space around shook. The moment the sector lord died, large amounts of items appeared out of thin air and landed around. These were all the items from his inner world that had collapsed after his death, causing them to fall to the outside world. So poor. Luo Feng's gaze swept, black tags. In the distance there was a pile of black tags with many more scattered around. Keep. Luo Feng immediately kept the black tags along with the valuable treasures. As for the other random items to core members like Luo Feng, the virtual universe company provided them for free. Naturally Luo Feng couldn't be bothered to keep them. Killing sector lords, the number of tags I got is quite a lot. Including this, my black tags have already broken through the 7,000 mark. Luo Feng couldn't help but reveal a look of shock. I didn't even intentionally want to get 10,000 black tags, but who would have thought that I've already reached a little over 7,000. The stronger one was, the more tags he would get. The laser gun wielding Pa Tuo from before had killed sector lords before, hence he had many tags. This old Ancestor Golden Sun was strong, hence he had many tags too. Who knows, I might actually be able to get 10,000 black tags. Luo Feng smiled, immediately becoming a beam of light and vanishing. As he explored Demon Note Mountain for a long time, Luo Feng gradually discovered a danger. On a certain day, Luo Feng sat crossed-legged in the cave, his consciousness connected to the virtual universe network, studying the Time-Space Scribbles 3rd volume. He immersed himself in studying, hence he stayed in the cave for 6 consecutive days without moving. However, Luo Feng realized that in these 6 days of sitting there without moving, he had actually suffered 3 terrifying demon note attacks. These 3 attacks were enough to confuse even sector lords. Especially one of them, it was enough to confuse a normal sector lord level 7 or 8. Luckily my consciousness is strong, and I chose Demon Note Mountain. If I chose Ice Mountain, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to withstand it long ago. Luo Feng was shocked within. If he didn't come to Demon Note Mountain, and it was someone else, he would have long become a zombie. On the 109th day in Demon Note Mountain. Rumble. A rumbling sound resounded in the distance. Luo Feng, who was sitting crossed-legged, had already turned into an ice statue. His eyes suddenly opened, following which the ice on his body cracked open. Luo Feng stood up and looked into the distance. Someone's there. Following the rumbling in the distance, very quickly, a 300m tall gorilla-like beast was chasing a universe level 9 youth. That youth, his entire body was covered in golden armor, moving like a ghost. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Primal Region Universe level member Mo Luo? The Virtual Universe Company's Primal Region Universe level members originally had 3, along with the new geniuses Bolin and Long Yun, they had a total of 5. And Mo Luo was one of the 3 seniors of the Primal Region Universe level. Wedding leave notice. Today's 2 a.m. is over. Tomato should also ask for leave for his wedding. One wouldn't know before getting married, but after getting married, one could indeed feel the complexity of a wedding. Tomato's wedding required the groom and wife's workplace to be held 3 times. Of course the wife's workplace was the wedding. These 3 times. Tomato would definitely be very tired, and to receive his old friends and classmates, it has to be me. Because my parents don't know my university classmates etc., and I still have to rush for a long journey. Hence, Tomato has asked for 7 days of leave, May 1st to 7th, which is the 7 days of the May 1st holiday, to fully focus on the wedding. I probably don't have the time or the environment to write. Tomorrow 30th, Saturday. Tomato was late 2 days ago, hence I owe everyone 2 chapters. I'll continue tomorrow. No matter what. In April, Tomato would at least not be late. Guaranteed updates. These 7 days of May 1st, let's give it to Tomato's wedding. At the same time he would also pull up his monthly tickets, treat it as a wedding red packet, throw it over. Because of the upcoming qualification battles, Luo Feng tried his best to gather detailed information on the universe-level Primal Region members. In terms of strength, these 3 seniors from the Primal Region were much stronger than the Mother Flame Clan Sajin Fire Dragon he had defeated before. At least for now, in the virtual universe qualification battles, he didn't have any confidence in defeating any one of them. Of course in reality that might not be the case. Of the 3 seniors, Luo Feng actually had the best impression of Mo Luo. Mo Luo came from the distant South Fox Universe country. He was originally an orphan from the chaos of war on a barren planet, alone and without a name. After which, he was captured by the Mo family that had over 1,000 life planets and was brought to a camp to nurture the family's elite death warriors. However, in the process of nurturing, Mo Luo displayed an inconceivable talent. So he was quickly taken in by the clan, and was bestowed with the clan surname Mo. Since then he had the name Mo Luo. After receiving the Mo family's full support and nurturing, his improvement speed was even more ridiculous. Very quickly, even the head of the Mo family, a universe level 9 warrior, had nothing to teach him. And not long after, Mo Luo was discovered by the members of the Virtual Universe Company in the various regions of the vast universe, and was immediately absorbed as a special elite of the Virtual Universe Company. The elites absorbed by the Virtual Universe Company also competed with each other. Very quickly Mo Luo was absorbed as a core member. In the same year, Mo Luo passed Tongtian Mountain and entered the Sky and Land region. After which, after 2 qualification battles, he killed his way into the Primal Region. He became one of the high and mighty Primal Region members. Luo Feng and the others went through the Universe Genius battles and finally entered the core of the Virtual Universe Company. And Mo Luo, through the Virtual Universe Company's own elite absorption system, he slowly rose and finally entered the Primal Region. Luo Feng, the reason why he had the best impression of Mo Luo. 1 was because of his difficult rise to power. 2 was the battle technique he used, the Beast Fist technique he created. Fighters mostly used blades, swords, spears, axes, rods etc. And Mo Luo relied on his body, his fists and legs. According to what teacher Tru Yen said, I always use the secret arts created by senior powerhouses in the beginning, but as my comprehension of the laws increases and the secret arts created by others are no longer suitable for me, it is extremely important to create my own secret art. Luo Feng was very clear on this because 99.99% of the Undyings all created their own techniques. Secret techniques were not always created as early as possible. When one's comprehension of laws was weak, it was not suitable to create mystic arts. This was because if one's comprehension was weak, it was easy for one to go astray when creating mystic arts. However, the Beast Fist that Mo Luo created was something that even Tru Yen had praised. Luo Feng has also seen the video of Mo Luo using the Beast Fist, and he was filled with admiration. In the deep, cold, ancient and vast cave, a young man wearing golden armor was fleeing while fighting with a tall gorilla phantom beast that was chasing after him. Boom. The cave trembled and the layer of ice cracked. The gorilla beast roared as it punched and slapped. However, the golden-armored youth was incomparably nimble and as fast as lightning. He dodged it time and time again. However, in terms of speed, the gorilla phantom beast was much faster. Soon, it arrived in front of the golden-armored youth with a large stride. Big guy. The golden-armored youth raised his head. Roar. The gorilla beast slapped down fiercely. Whoosh. The golden-armored youth actually stood his ground. Only when the slap was about to land did he rush into the sky to dodge. The gorilla beast immediately stopped waving its hand and waved its palm horizontally. Just as it flipped its wrist, the golden-armored youth quickly pounced on it. Fly. The golden-armored youth hugged the 10m long gorilla beast and fiercely waved his finger. Rumble. The 300m tall gorilla beast was flung into the air and fiercely smashed into the ice layer. Rumble, such a huge being, it was like a small mountain smashing into the ice layer. It immediately blew away many shards of ice and caused the surrounding ice layer to crack. Because through one finger of the gorilla beast, waving the entire gorilla beast, the finger's joints broke in half. Paw. The golden-armored youth used strength again and broke the finger. Howl. The gorilla beast roared angrily. It climbed up and waved its palm to slap. Not far away watching this scene, Luo Feng was shocked within. With one leap, his entire body was like water wrapping around the finger. And the moment he used strength, he actually used the beast's own strength to throw the entire beast away. Adding fuel to the fire and using strength, the beast's finger was broken. How exquisite, unbelievable. It seemed simple. However, against a palm that was as heavy as a mountain, Luo Feng asked himself, he didn't dare face that huge palm and hug the finger. He didn't have that ability. Mo Luo Universe Level 9 Golden Armor, Domain Lord Level 9 Support Metal Life Form. Babata said, that beast's energy level is about Sector Lord Level 2. Watching his close combat abilities, his entire body is like one body, he's probably able to unleash 100 times his normal strength. The Undying Altar was a test of strength, 100 times was the limit. However, it's useless. The most terrifying thing about the beast is that no matter how heavily injured it is, it won't die. Babata said. Luo Feng nodded. Even if the beast was sliced into pieces, it would still gradually recover. In the distance, the youth Mo Luo was fighting with the gorilla beast. The gorilla beast was constantly injured, however it still had the upper hand. I'll help him out. Luo Feng smiled. So troublesome. Mo Luo stood on the gorilla beast's head and muttered, no matter how heavily injured it is, it's useless. The gorilla beast's palm waved past. Mo Luo could only swiftly dodge, running on the gorilla beast's huge body. Suddenly, in the distance, a huge silver-white pyramid appeared. That silver-white pyramid's tip too emitted a glaring white light. Laser cannon? Mo Luo stared wide-eyed, immediately dodging 3 times in shock, dodging far away. A beam of light with a diameter of 200m immediately swept past the gorilla beast. Half of its huge body was gone, leaving behind only its head and 2 legs. The rest was completely melted. After melting the entire gorilla beast, the beam's energy was weakened by more than half, finally landing on the distant ice wall, only melting a portion of it. Automaton ship. E3 grade laser cannon. The automaton ship, whether it was the 9 E3 grade laser cannons or the 3-star annihilator cannons, they were all large caliber. Like the E3 laser cannon, the laser beam's diameter could be controlled between 30m to 3000m. Automaton ship? Mo Luo looked shocked. That silver-white pyramid swiftly vanished. A black-horned youth walked over, only his skin color had completely returned to Luo Feng's original appearance. Mo Luo. Luo Feng shouted. Luo Feng. Mo Luo looked shocked at him. You've come to Demon Note Mountain too? You're here but I can't? Luo Feng smiled. Mo Luo was shocked. He had naturally prepared for the qualification battles. Amongst the geniuses that could become his opponent, he too paid close attention to Luo Feng. Because this Luo Feng was simply too intrepid. Not long after joining the Virtual Universe Company, he actually defeated Sajin and Fire Dragon. Such improvement speed, how could one not feel the pressure? Howl, the gorilla beast's head on the ground actually let out a low growl. Mo Luo looked at the head, his expression changed, shouting, Luo Feng, let's hurry and leave. Quickly. So, Mo Luo swiftly fled. Luo Feng was suspicious, but he too became a beam of light and swiftly followed Mo Luo. Mo Luo was ahead, Luo Feng was behind. The two continuously flew through 3 tunnels before stopping. Luo Feng. Mo Luo landed on the ice layer, smiling at Luo Feng. I've long heard of your name, however I've never had the chance to interact with you. I didn't expect us to meet in Demon Note Mountain. Luo Feng nodded, after which he frowned and asked, right Mo Luo, why were you in such a rush to flee? Mo Luo shook his head helplessly. It's like this, actually not far from where I and the beast were, there was a beast nest. These 2 days I've actually been chased by the beasts, trying my best to escape. However, with my own strength I couldn't even deal with that beast from before. Using a universe ship? A universe ship is fast in a straight line, however in the twists and turns of the tunnels, it would sometimes accelerate and sometimes slow down. This speed is even slower than me using my metal life form. Luo Feng nodded. A universe ship's acceleration was usually very slow, requiring a long time before it could reach light speed. Of course, the automaton ship's performance was much faster, however it was still far slower than the Mosha clansman's instantaneous acceleration. On my ship, I don't have a laser cannon as powerful as yours. Mo Luo shook his head, hence we've been in a stalemate. Beast nest. Luo Feng nodded. He had encountered it before, the beast nest was indeed terrifying. Anyway, I don't dare to go there again. Mo Luo shook his head, after which he looked curiously at Luo Feng. LuoFeng, how long have you been in Demon Note Mountain? Have you met any danger? Not even 4 months. LuoFeng said, not as long as you. Before he entered, there were already 2 core members that had entered Demon Note Mountain. Obviously now he could confirm that one of them was Mo Luo. Looks like you two want to stay for 3 years. Mo Luo's eyes gleamed, exclaiming, this Demon Note Mountain is too dangerous, especially the Demon Note. Luckily I found a pattern. Otherwise I would have long become a zombie. Pattern? LuoFeng looked at Mo Luo. For you to be able to live till now, you haven't discovered the pattern? Mo Luo asked. LuoFeng was stunned. Other than the terrifying swallowing energy in the tunnels, the other demon notes didn't pose a threat to him, hence he really didn't notice any pattern. First of all, you can't stay in one place for too long. As time passes, the strongest demonic sound you'll encounter will grow stronger and stronger. Mo Luo smiled. I'm sure you know this. Even those natives know this.